Folks, welcome back. My name is Rudy. You're watching Alpha Investments, the Florida man's journey through the world of cardboard in an era of social media, emotions and clicks and views and talking to a camera, always alone in a building. Today we're doing a follow-up video. Follow-up video today, everybody. Follow-up video today on Spiderman. So, boy, have I had a lot of interesting conversations. I really do think it came down to, I think we had excessive speculation of new people who haven't been in the card world. And I think there was so much investing, speculating in the Spider-Man collectors. And right when that non-serialized news dropped, it was confirmed. I feel like right when we started that downward spiral, it just snowballed from fear, panic, and a lot of people who may have over-leveraged or over-purchased and not really could afford it, Looking online, before the crash happened, most orders went through. People were pre-ordering on average between $800 and $950. There were some people that obviously paid over $1,000 or $1,100 with tax. Yikes. But overall, most pre-orders appear to be online between that $800 and $950 range. And, getting the feedback from everyone in a lot of stores around the country, let's discuss the facts. The facts are pre-release attendance was substantially lower on Spider-Man than Edge of Eternities, than Final Fantasy, than everything. So the overall excitement fizzled very quickly. The excitement towards Spider-Man at release was significantly lower than the last few sets. It was lower than Edge of Eternities. It was obviously lower than Final Fantasy. But the people who showed up to play it, everybody has told me that the cards and the enjoyment and the flavor of playing it is actually really good. Then, people asked me what my opinion was of this cosmic, textless Soulstone. Card Kingdom has obviously not listed any for sale. $17,000 plus tax on Card Kingdom. That's about $19,000 shipped for the full Monty flashy Soulstone in this Spider-Man box. Now, of course, the Soulstone does not have the little number. It is not serialized. But apparently, the pull rate is so extravagantly low, it leads to the question of, is Wizards just that stupid and that dumb and that retarded and that idiotic and that much of a Timmy? Whatever word choice you guys want to use. Were they forced to remove the serialized option? Did they choose to not have a serialized option because they wanted the Soulstone to line up with the other stones in the future of Marvel sets? There are so many unanswered questions. And of course, we have to acknowledge the conspiracy theory tinfoil hat people that they didn't want to serialize so they could print more collector boxes and milk everybody when the price skyrocketed. This is what's going on right now. So the funny thing about it is, we'll never have the answer. Hasbro Wizards is never going to make a public statement about why the King Dingaling Soulstone does not have serialization. That's really what it comes down to. Now, the other interesting thing about it is, from someone who's actually seen one pulled, not me, some patrons, everybody has told me it literally looks like almost like the One Ring, like the full flashy. I mean, it really stands out. So it definitely feels like it was supposed to be a serialized card. I don't know if it was supposed to be out of 1. I don't know if it's supposed to be out of some unique number, like a 69 or 77 or something to do with a Marvel and the flair and the lore of the story. But it definitely feels like it was supposed to be some special numbered thing. So maybe Marvel in the licensing forced them so we didn't want that. Maybe Wizards and Hasbro said we don't want it because we want to potentially do things in the future. And if there's other Marvel sets with more stones and they're going to finish the series, maybe they didn't want each one being serialized. You know, nobody knows. Nobody knows. But what I do know is the rarity is the same rarity as a serialized card. So that makes me step all the way back and say, okay, let's assume there are 300 on the low side, and let's say, 1,000 on the high side of this full Monty cosmic textless card. So for the Bears out there, there's only 300. For the Bulls out there, there's 1,000, let's say. So usually the truth is somewhere in the middle. But you're telling me that these boxes that are tanking are currently having a pre-ordered price on a card in this collector box under $20,000 a card. And not even the textless, the regular version, or the borderless or whatever, is like $2,000. And then the cheapest version is like $100. So, are the price of these Spider-Man collector boxes going to continue to cut straight down like a falling knife? And if that's the case, is this one of those moments where it's one of the greatest buying opportunities we've had in the last couple years? Everybody says prices are too high. We want them to come down. I'm angry at stores for scalping. I'm angry at this. I'm angry at whoever. The price tanks, and everybody says, good. It should have never been that way. Now I don't want it. It deserves to be tanked. Everybody deserves to lose money. And I'm kind of just watching all this stuff unfold, and I'm like, who's going to come out of this? Who's really gonna win this? Because historically, the rich get richer, right? Wealth creates wealth. Trying to be a normal person and trying to go from a working, hard-working person to getting $100,000 or $1 million is so incredibly difficult. Most of the time, it's never achieved by normal people. Now, obviously, once you have $10 million, to go from $10 million to $11 million is literally not hard at all. If you're lucky enough to have $100 million, to make $1 million on $100 million is 1%. You literally don't have to do anything. You just put it in an account and wake up and watch the sun come up and you get the money risk-free. So again, the scales change how you view the difficulty. And right now, this feels like a situation where the stores and the employees and the people who speculate on this, a lot of them are going to get burned. This is the first time we're going to see some serious losses with some Magic here in the last couple of years. And I have a feeling someone like me, or me, is going to see some opportunity out there where if we get to a point where these Spider-Man boxes are like $4.99 or below, you know, if I see a price like that, and I don't mean for one box, I mean for like cases and people who are desperate. You know, there's been a long time, and I told you guys for a long time, I really missed the times when there was so much supply. I could kind of swim around and play in the market, and I miss that stuff. I haven't been able to build positions in a lot of things. I haven't had as much fun lately, even though it's easy money and Rudy's made a fortune on paper with his inventory. It hasn't been as enjoyable as when, you know, it's easier to do things when you don't have competition and everybody's negative. It allows pathways to be opened that normally wouldn't be. So as I look at this stuff, I've already started trying to contact different people, different friends, different stores, different businesses, and I'm fishing already to see who wants to unload their Spider-Man positions. And so if you're a patron, yes, I am working on running an additional sale on Spider-Man play boxes. I'm trying to get another pallet or two. I'm trying to see who is unhappy. So let's just put it that way. Spider-Man collector boxes. If you're looking for information on that, I have no plans to run any additional sales on my unsold Spider-Man collector boxes. If you are looking to buy more of that, I would definitely be watching the open market for collector boxes, especially on Friday release day, going into next weekend, release day plus 7 days. That's probably going to be your best opportunity. Similar to Final Fantasy and other things, I think we're going to see extreme volatility. But when I'm sitting here looking at Karlov Manor collector boxes at almost 300, Aether Drift collector boxes over 200, you're trying to tell me that the market and the demand for specialty rare collector boxes is pricing Karlov Manor at like 270 plus tax, so about $300. And people out there are telling me you shouldn't buy Spider-Man. I see social media screenshots and posts of all the highly emotional, not the brightest Timmies in the world, spreading all this anger and hate and negativity online. I look at this stuff and I go, this is going to be a moment where tremendous wealth is moved around. And this is going to be a moment where some rich people are going to make a fucking lot of money. Because the facts remain, this Spider-Man collector box has a very limited print run. It's 20 to 30% lower than Final Fantasy. A lot of the chase cards are only available in this one product. No, I do not think Wizards is going to reprint Spider-Man collectors like crazy. I'm actually even right now wondering if they're even going to reprint the play boxes. They got 5 other play box sets that need to be reprinting that have been waiting forever, and now you got these things tanking. I sure as shit tell you, Spider-Man play boxes are going to be on the last in line to ever get a reprint anytime soon. I'm looking at what's going on with this stuff, and we're going into the end of the year with the holidays. Everybody has to do special sales. Remember, businesses are supposed to unload all their inventory at losses with Black Fridays and Cyber Mondays and Stepsister Tuesdays and all this stuff. And I'm looking at this stuff and I'm like, based on what it feels like right now, we should be entering a period where everything in Magic starts to stop going up. I feel like based on everything going on, that the prices of play and collector boxes are no longer going to go up from the filming of this video. I think in the short term we've peaked. Spider-Man was the catalyst. So, with that being said, what's going to happen now is stores, employees, and investors, and scalpers, and evil investors are all going to have to raise capital. And a lot of them are going to sell other things like Final Fantasy, Edge of Eternities, Tarkir, Aether, Karlov, Dustborn, Foundations, Bloom. I think we're going to see selling pressure on the items around Spider-Man to raise capital to pay overhead, labor, and bills, and of course new releases for the new Flesh and Blood. We got the new, obviously, all this new Pokemon stuff, the new One Piece stuff. We got Weiss, Azure Lane 2 coming. You got Sorcery coming with Gothic. And of course, well, you've got Avatar with Magic. You have all these big things coming. And remember, folks, 75 to probably 85% of all stores are undercapitalized. They can't hold inventory. They can't invest. They can't hoard. They don't have the facilities, the bankroll, the capital. They haven't devoted 20 years of their life of sacrifice and dealing with the path I've chosen, which, for the record, I know a lot of you all seem to be envious of my path, but I assure you a couple things. The videos I do on this channel may come off a certain way, but the path I have chosen has its benefits, and yes, it comes with a lot of financial success, but it comes with a lot of work and discipline and sacrifice of vacations and no traveling and no spending money and resources and other things. And I assure you all, it's not glamorous, and it's not easy the way it comes off on these videos, because I've just done it so long. I don't have a lot of reaction to many things anymore. So, conclusion of this video, which means we're halfway through. I don't think we're going to see more gains in the short term. I think from now to the end of the year, we're going to be sideways. Maybe even a 10-20% retrace, which I actually hope we do, because that would be healthy. I mean, collector box market across the board is up 100 to 300%. A 10-20% consolidation, retrace, or anything is the correct thing to do. It shows people lock in profits, the market cools off, put some more time under the belt, and that is the correct thing to do. Now, whether that happens, I don't know. But when it comes to Magic, we have another video for Pokemon. This is not Pokemon related, everybody. But when it comes to Magic right now, the Spider-Man panic is definitely going to ice the Magic market short term. As the film is video, I think the run-up in prices on collectors and play and everything, I think the Spider-Man shock is enough to slow or temporarily halt the bull market in Magic. There's too much money on the line, too many people leveraged, too many people speculated, too many thousands of people jumped in this market from Final Fantasy, and they thought that everything was free tendies. There was no such thing as losing money in Magic the Gathering. But if you have been around a long time, you know Wizards of the Coast is filled with Timmies, and they can do amazing things. And there are decisions that company makes that no one in the world will ever understand. And Spider-Man is one of those examples. Now, bull case scenario. We have to accept what we know right now. So let's remove my opinion and your opinion. Let's look at what we know. We know the print runs 30%, 20 to 30% lower than Final Fantasy. We know play boxes are way behind, and there's no Spider-Man play box restock anytime soon because it's in the back of the line. We know all the Commander decks are getting their final reprints right now with like Bloomburrow, Duskmoor, and Ixalan, blah, blah. So we know the reprints are about to swap over from Commander decks to reprinting all these play boxes now. We know these are the things we know. We know Spider-Man has a really high-end, textless, full art, flashy cosmic soulstone that's the same style as like the One Ring without serialization. We know there has been a confirmed sale already for one, at least unless it was photoshopped, of over $10,000 for the card. We know that the prices of the different variants of Spider-Man, kind of like the Chocobos and different things, are very expensive. And the Chocobo situation started off the same way. We know a lot of the cards in Spider-Man are enjoyable and people are actually enjoying it, and new people who love Marvel and Spider-Man are buying it. So we know these certain things are going on. We also know the market is unhappy that there's no serialization on the Soulstone or other stuff. We also know the market is throwing a temper tantrum, and everybody who thought they were getting free tendies is now going through a little system shock that you're not going to make a lot of money on Spider-Man. And suddenly we're going through this recalibration. I, for one, see, like I said, it's been a while since we've had the opportunity of something like this. And I definitely would like to build a very large position in Spider-Man. The question is, how much panic and drama can we instill so that a scalper scanner 10,000, not 5,000, can move in and make some serious plays? I stand by, since I've built a position in every Magic collector box since they've been invented in 2019. Never skipped a set. And I can tell you all with a 99% degree of certainty, these boxes will go up. And the internet will do anything it can to tell you otherwise. And again, most people will miss out, just like they did on everything else in life, because they are going to be led and driven by emotion, while there's going to be people out there, including myself, that are going to make some fucking crazy moves if the opportunity arises. Right now, I'm trying to get a bunch of play boxes because I have a lot of patrons asking for cases of Spider-Man play, because I did that with Final Fantasy and people loved it. We sold like 7,000 Final Fantasy play boxes. So right now, I'm working on Spider-Man play boxes to try to get a sale here in the next few days for those of you who wanted some of that. To recap, there is no plans to do another Spider-Man collector box sale at least a couple years. I am going to try and build, the goal would be a couple thousand boxes of Spider-Man. I don't know if I'll be able to do that because there's just not a lot to go around. The average store, it got like 6 to 12 Spider-Man boxes, and large stores got 24 to 48 1-2 master cases. Big stores got maybe 100, 200. I mean, nobody out there got 5,000 Spider-Man collector boxes. It's just not a thing. So again, building a position that can even hit 1,000 plus Spider-Man collector is extremely attractive. And we have to see after release, are the single cards going to collapse? Or do they stop going down, reverse course, and start spiking up, and then the market realizes how stupid it is? That is the million-dollar question right now. If those single cards do not collapse in price, and those single cards, if any of them become super playable, some new thing happens, if anything surprises the market is not preparing for that. Right now, everything points to straight collapse. It's all worthless, and that's what everybody's making decisions on. If for some reason something shifts, it's going to be very messy again. So we went through this time with Edge of Eternities, of course, led by Final Fantasy, where the general public was angry at the high prices, angry at the stores for canceling and relisting higher boxes and higher prices, all that stuff. And now this time around, there's reports all over the internet of everybody telling everybody to cancel their orders, stick the stores with the boxes, lowering the price, give me an adjustment. So this time around, we're seeing the other end of the knife. And it's a very interesting thing to see the human psyche in a lot of the younger, newer people who aren't familiar with anything from investing to collecting. It's fascinating to see when things shift on each direction in the play field, how the behavior is predictable. It's a very interesting thing. And similar to before, stores who canceled Final Fantasy and relisted a higher price, people bashed them. I mean, this time around, are everybody who's organizing online to cancel their orders and demand refunds and everything at these stores across the country, are all the stores going to dox and blast and reveal who these customers are the way the customers did with the stores? I mean, is it going to go both ways? Or is it rules for thee, not for me? Are the rules going to be one-sided, which is most likely the answer? So that's where we're at. Now that I've regurgitated all this information on Spider-Man, again, my conclusion to you all is, if you have the capital, if you have the time frame, if you're in good health, you have the ability to store things, park money in different categories and assets, you are seeing one of the first Magic the Gathering opportunities on a collector box. Probably one of the biggest opportunities we've seen in probably 2-3 years. I haven't seen the last time I saw an extreme opportunity, obviously Foundations collectors, and those were like $230, $240, $250 at release, and everybody laughed and everybody made fun of everybody and told out the stores, F you, this and that. And then of course, obviously, they were like bricks of gold. But by far, this reminds me back to like the Ravnica remastered collectors, when the internet just made video after video. There's no good cards. It's overpriced. Why would anybody buy this? What's the point of this? And of course, the rest is history, And then of course, you would just think after doing certain things, you would think the internet would adapt. You would think that normal people, you would think that normal people who would read and watch the internet and listen to content creators and negativity and positivity and pumps and dumps and shills and stepsisters and washers and dryers and tacos and waffle fries, you would think by now, like, people would have the ability to see opportunity when it's in front of them. Everybody begs for cheap prices. And then when there's a crash tied to the cheap prices, suddenly, what happened to all these people saying, if Spider-Man would be, $1,000 a ripoff for Spider-Man, I wish I could get it for $700 or $600. And now it's I guess as of now, we're at $580 plus tax, so about $625 shipped. So we're in the mid sixes. What happened to all the people that were begging for a huge discount? These things, it's such a fascinating thing in this world. to follow the online gurus, the social media people. It's a very strange thing to do. Well, I think I'm done rambling on Spider-Man. I just wanted to tell you all that people love the cards. Pre-release attendance was way down. The people who played it are really happy with it. Everybody says it's incredibly fun. In this Soulstone thing, without serialization, is a $10,000 to $20,000 card. And instead of 77 chocobos, even if there's 500 of these things, even if there's 1,000, you're telling me $10,000, $20,000 lottery cards in this thing? And people are saying you shouldn't buy these boxes unless they crash at 200, 300? It's been a while since I've been excited. This is my excited face. This is me being just absolutely pumped and jacked to the tits right now. This is me trying to keep my third ball from flying like a bottle rocket in this video. I'm almost in a state of disbelief that this is an opportunity in front of me. And like I've told you guys many times in history, my biggest regrets in life are not the times I made or lost money. My biggest regrets in life are the times I skipped things, I didn't try, or I let other people talk me out of stuff. Looking at you, Pokemon and Sun and Moon era. Looking at Magic and certain things in the past. Fucking original Zendikar. 2009 OG original Zendikar. Never forget that stupid phone call. Rudy, we have a pallet of 600 original Zendikar boxes. Instead of $80 a box, it's going to be $110 a box. Would you take the whole pallet? Fuck you, I'm not paying $110. And I hung up that call. Man. You learn a lot in life about yourself when the markets make you feel alive. And I'm telling you all right now, as a guy whose entire life is around cardboard, this is the time to be greedy. This is the time to be greedy. Now, most of you won't do anything because you think I'm trying to manipulate stuff. And don't worry, I'll do it for you. I promise you.